Hello, everyone. I am Jew Jackson, one of the members of the Middle Initial Podcast, in case you don't know for whatever reason. And I am here with Kevin Lewis with the F hat on. You know, I never asked about your hats, Kev, but what does the F
Mhm.
stand for?
Florida. It is
F.
a Marlins hat.
Oh, a
Back when they were
Marlins
the
hat.
Florida Marlins instead of the Miami Marlins. Yeah.
Okay. It's a sick hat. I see him. You're going out stunting around for the woman and everything with that hat. They're like,
We're, we're,
oh,
we're
damn,
we're
Kev.
starting off with a lie.
Damn,
And the
Kev,
podcast
look at
is
you.
38 seconds old and we're already starting off with lies. Okay.
It's not it's not a lie. It's not a lie. It's the truth. I mean,
You
look at
you,
you.
you can't point. You can't show me all these women that I supposedly have.
I can, but I don't want to
Exactly. Oh, you
make
can.
off.
Oh, so you're
Yes,
just gonna keep lying. Okay. Anyways,
yes.
how was your
I'm gonna.
weekend, Mr. Jackson?
It was pretty good. Went to the Mets game, saw the Mets do their thing, beat the Marlins, ironically enough, and then just Easter I relaxed. How about you?
It was good. I'm always glad. A piece of me is relieved every Monday when I find out you're still alive because you don't
Mm.
say a word to anybody from the minute Friday ends to the minute Monday begins. You say nothing to anybody. So I'm always relieved to find out that you're still alive, you're still with us, and
I
you're still doing your thing.
yes. I'm watching. I'm just lurking. I'm lurking on everything. I'm just reading everything. I read all of the conversations. There's only so much Aaron Rodgers theorizing that I can go through. That has
Yeah,
nothing's changed in
no,
the
that's fair. That's
nothing's
that's
changed.
that's definitely fair. But we have an interesting coworker relationship. You know who else could say
Hmm.
that? Kyle
Oh, who else
Anderson and
has?
Rudy Gobert could say that after what happened
Yeah,
yesterday.
you gotta tell me about that because damn. Oh, okay.
Listen,
Okay, well,
um, all right. So
you
I
got
guess
yes.
I'll start. All right. So
Hmm.
Rudy and Kyle were on the bench. Apparently, if you believe what Rudy basically fed Woj, because there's no doubt that it was Rudy that fed it to him.
Hmm.
Apparently, Kyle Anderson had called Rudy Gobert the five-letter B word several times during the game, apparently, and
Hmm.
Rudy was playing through an injury. I don't know where the injury came in, but they put it there. So I don't
Hmm.
know why that mattered here necessarily. I guess maybe he was just more irritable. I don't know, but he called him that several times, and apparently the final one before the bad punch was thrown was just the last straw, and Rudy just wasn't going to take it anymore. So that's what happened. Listen, I said it on this podcast quite literally last week. If you're gonna call somebody a bitch, you're gonna find out whether they are or they aren't. Like in a lot of cases, you're gonna find out whether they actually are one. If you call them a bitch, like you're gonna find it out. Like you got to be ready to fight if you're gonna call somebody a
uh,
bitch, bro. Like,
yes.
and listen, the people are like, oh well, he can't respond like that on camera, and he can't respond like that. He's making millions of. Listen, I said again, like I said last week, millions of dollars just does not dictate what disrespect is or is not.
Hmm.
And if a grown man is going to call you a bitch in front of coworkers, like who you see every day and who you
Hmm.
play basketball with every day, and you do nothing, they might start
Hmm.
looking at you crazy. And they already look at Rudy Gobert crazy. Look at how people talk about Rudy Gobert. They already look at Rudy Gobert crazy. So people are just gonna start calling him a bitch. Just gonna be like,
Hmm.
all right, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna let that roll off my back, whatever. And they're gonna start looking at him even crazier than they already look at him, man. So it's just one of those like, listen, I get why he did what he did, right?
Hmm.
Kyle calling him a bitch, can't speak to it. I don't know why he did it. I don't know. Like it seems like nobody likes Rudy Gobert. So I don't know how deep seated that is or whatever it is. Cool. I understand why the team suspended him. One thing I do find funny is
Hmm.
that the NBA will never suspend you for putting hands on your own teammate. Like never. They will never. I don't know if it's ever
Yeah.
happened, but like they
Hmm.
will never suspend you. They're just like, hey man, listen, we're out of it. Y'all on your
Hmm.
own, handle that yourselves. But it's like
Hmm.
it's still conduct detrimental to the league, putting hands on somebody on your own fucking teammate. Like, and it's
Yes.
less
Hmm.
understandable than putting hands on an opponent, and they
Hmm.
will never suspend you. But either way, it was interesting, and it gave off like last day of the year kind of vibe. Like
Yeah.
I've been seeing this dude the whole year. I'm kind of tired of him. We tired of each
Hmm.
other. Fuck it.
You know, the crazy thing is, like, with this whole thing, like, I just because there was no context surrounding this, so I'm looking on Twitter and everything, just scrolling. And first, I see people randomly complaining about C.J. McCollum during that game, which is pretty funny. And then B, I'm just looking, I'm like, oh, Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson are in a fight, and Kyle Anderson got ejected. I'm like, the fuck's going on? Was there like a fight on the court? Was because when you say someone get ejected, it's like, oh, there must have been a fight on the court or something like that. And it's like, no, I saw it, and apparently they're just calling each other bitches and punching each other and everything. And the funny thing is, it's like I thought it's like maybe they were frustrated about the game or something. Maybe the game was just so frustrating, but they won that game, so it's just like where like it's not even like they were losing and they were just punching each other out. They're winning, and it's just like, oh hey, you're a bitch. It's like okay, like you said, Kev, he kind of had to do something there. And if I were Rudy Gobert, I would also ask, who exactly are you? Who are you? Who's Kyle Anderson? Like, I would just be like, does anyone know who you are? You can call me a bitch, but like, who the fuck are you? Do you get bitches? That's what I would. That's what I would ask him. Is like, who are you? People running up to you and say, "Oh shit, there's Kyle Anderson." That's what I would have said, to be honest. Like, just who are you?
Let me clarify something I said earlier. I said the NBA wouldn't suspend players who punched their own teammates. The Timberwolves did suspend them. Like, let me make that clear. But like the NBA itself won't do it. Just they're gonna let the team do it. They're gonna be like, yeah, hey man, my name's Saul. That's between y'all. Like that's what they do. Like my name's Saul. That's between y'all. And also like they had what was so funny about that is that I don't know if you saw, but Jalen McDaniels broke his hand. He's a player
punching a wall, right?
And ESPN ticker was like, Jalen McDaniels, whatever, out for the rest of the game with a hand injury or with a broken hand. We don't know if this was caused by punching the wall. Listen, all right. I don't know what they did that for. I don't know why they feared whatever could have came from that. I don't know why they put it that way. But I will say this. If he already had a broken hand before punching the wall, he probably wouldn't have punched the wall. I feel like that's a fair conclusion to draw here, right? He probably wouldn't have punched the wall. And if he had a broken hand immediately after punching the wall, one can reasonably surmise that it's because he punched the wall that he has a broken hand. Like, all they had to say was he's out with the broken hand. That's all he had to say. Like, we can do our own math on that. You don't have to do it for us. We can do our own math. Like, he punched the wall. He broke his fucking hand. Oh, we don't know if it was due to the... Okay. All right.
What I'm just confused. Like, how the fuck did all this happen? Like, all this is happening during this game versus the Pelicans, in which they won, and I don't think they looked bad at any point throughout this game, to the point where we're calling each other bitches and punching walls. It's like, what the fuck happened? And like, it's just mysterious. Like, it's not even like the team's bad. Like, it's just like mediocre, but it's not like they're bad. I don't know.
I agree. They fought. It was a good litmus test game for them, because obviously they lost one of their prominent players. I mean, well, shit, two if you count Gobert. They sent him home. And they lost Jay McDaniels to the wall. The wall. He fought the wall and lost. So he's done. And then they beat another pretty good playoff fringy kind of team. And
this is happening. Right. Like, this is stuff you'll see on like the Rockets or something. Like, I would have expected this from like the Rockets. Like, they're just punching each other and calling each other bitches. I would have expected that.
The Rockets play basketball like they got pulled out of the stands before the game, and they knew each other for 5 minutes. Like, that's how they play basketball pretty much night in and night out. They play basketball like they've never met each other before each game. But I'll say this about Kyle Anderson. You were saying Rudy should just ask who he is. Well, Kyle Anderson had some choice words in the back after the dust had settled.
Oh, y'all fucking up. I kissed his ass way too much. Don't tell me focus. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? I got a decision to make this thing. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
I'd be like, okay.
What's funny about that is that he says that they have a decision to make. I don't know if the decision is like, do we send him home today? I feel like that was a very easy decision. You had to. If we're talking about long term, Kyle, they're picking him over you, buddy. Like, let's make no mistake. They're picking him over you. I ain't saying they should. I ain't saying they shouldn't. I don't have no opinion in this. All I'm saying is, if you expect them to pick you over him, you are mistaken, buddy. Because they ain't paying you $50 million, and they didn't give 4 first-round draft picks to get you. They did that for him, right, wrong, or indifferent. They did that for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they have a decision to make. Like, you are someone in the league. Like, who are? Again, I would have just literally just been like over and over. Who are you? Who are you? Kyle Anderson. Who are you? Because, like you just said, Kev, I saw the compensation for Rudy Gobert. That shit's crazy. Jackson really just said, "Here, have him," and they got like everything. Not even like some garbage, like second round pick in like 2029 or something. They were just like, "Here's him. You give us everything you have." It's like, damn, okay.
Like, the only saving grace is that they might be a playoff team most of those years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only saving grace, but it's still like, it's tough because the thing is, like, Gobert's stock league wide has dropped so much in a year that it's not like you could turn around and be like, all right, I'm sick of this guy. Let's flip him. Like, maybe somebody else will fit him better. Like, they don't like that dude league wide, man. They really don't. Like, they don't. Yeah. In the locker room, out of the locker room. They just don't like him.
I don't even know is it that COVID thing or something. Like, that's the only thing I could think about. Like, is it that, or is it just something?
I don't think they care that much about that, man. To be honest with you, like, I just think his personality grates on people. Number one, and number two, like, in general, NBA players tend to undervalue like rim protecting big men who don't have a lot of offensive game, because we saw similar stuff with Dwight Howard. Now, full disclosure, Dwight Howard had a lot of shit going on. Off the court that made people hate him, and he was looked at as mega cornball, which fair or not, that's what it was. And Rudy kind of is similar, but if Rudy was out here dropping 26 a night, you wouldn't be hearing all of this stuff. At least in my opinion, like that they wouldn't do that. But they don't respect his game, and they don't respect him, and they don't respect either or. They don't respect anything about him. They don't respect him. They don't respect his game. They don't respect his personality. They don't respect nothing.
He's just there. He's just running around being French. That's all.
Listen, I don't remember. Listen, and I asked a question on the timeline the other day. I was like, has there been an NBA player as universally disliked and disrespected as Rudy Gobert? And I got a few people telling me Chris Paul. And great nomination. Not here to argue with you. Great nomination, but they respected Chris Paul's game. Yeah. Like, they did. Like, at least they respect his game. And most of Chris Paul's shit is just, he plays like you expect a 5'10" dude to play. Like, that was the problem with Chris Paul. Like, he's 5'10", and he plays exactly like you would expect a 5'10" hyper competitive dude to play, and people didn't like that shit. They did.
Yeah. I can't think of anyone NBA wise. I'm just trying to think like off the top of my head.
I got one NFL wise that's perfect.
Dylan Brooks is the only guy I can maybe think about where I don't see many people really like fucking with him or his game. Like, I don't see any guy in the league really like, oh my god, Dylan Brooks. I kind of like don't like him.
I don't think Russell Wilson is quite as bad as Rudy Gobert, because at least in Russ's case, it's not really the opponents. It's the people who played with it, which is worse. Don't get me wrong, but with Rudy, it's everybody. Like, the people who play with them just don't say it out loud, but they do shit like call him a bitch on the sideline in front of thousands of people.
Or Donovan Mitchell. Like, there was this wild, crazy stat where it was like Donovan Mitchell would dribble the ball so many times, and Rudy Gobert would touch the ball maybe like twice whenever Donovan Mitchell had. It was something crazy, like when he was with the Jazz and everything. It showed that Donovan Mitchell just did not want to pass the ball to Rudy Gobert for whatever reason. I'm like, stuff like that, like what you were saying earlier, Kev. I will say, to your point, I agree with you about Russell Wilson, but do you remember Terrell Pryor a couple of years back?
Good call. Good call.
And how everyone, like literally everyone he played with, everyone he played against just hated him for some reason. And it's like, he didn't say anything, but it's like literally like people would just
No. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
he did say shit. We just didn't
Mhm.
see it because there's
Yeah.
no way he was
Mhm.
just running up and down the field like a mime, saying nothing, and everybody just hated his guts. Nah, he was
Yes.
talking. He must have been talking biblical levels of shit, but the camera just wasn't on him like that, so we
Yes.
couldn't tell.
Mhm.
But like
Mhm.
one of the funniest NFL pressers or quotes ever was when Pac-Man Jones was on the Bengals still,
Mhm.
and I don't know what Terrell Pryor said or did to him, but he was shaking a garbage can, implying that Terrell was in it. It was like he was shaking the garbage can like, I ain't gonna play with you. I ain't gonna play with you. Find somebody else to play with. It was the funniest shit ever. It was the
Oh, that's
funniest
just
shit ever. But yeah,
crazy.
people hated Terrell Pryor. They hated that dude. That was a good
Mhm.
call.
Mhm.
It
And
was
that
a
was
good
just the
call.
only one I could really think of. But speaking of good calls, the Ravens made a call last night for Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, look at that segue, Case. I'm taking your job. But yeah, the Ravens made a
Nah,
call
you're
last
not
night.
actually. No, you're not. No,
They
no.
made a call. They made a call last night for Odell Beckham Jr. Late at night, they were like, "Hey, Odell, do you want $18 million?" He was like, "Sure, okay." The Jets were in on him, and he was supposed to meet with the Jets today, in fact, but he decided to go with the Ravens. And you know what? That's okay. Kev, take it away. What are your thoughts about this?
I feel like I would hate this more if this was like September 1st. I'll
Mm,
explain. If we get to the season and McCole Hardman's wide receiver 3, I'm going to be very agitated because you had an entire offseason to make sure that that is not the case. Okay, I'm not asking for a great wide receiver. An above average wide receiver with the core that the Jets currently have makes for like a top 10 core in the league. That's more than enough to win with. Period.
mm-hmm,
It is. Like if you block enough and the play caller calls sensible enough plays, it's enough to win with. As far as Odell himself, um, people are commenting on the money. Listen, I understand why the Jets didn't necessarily want to pay him that, even though based on my understanding of how it affected the cap, it counted like $4 million against the cap. Now,
mm-hmm,
obviously, there's long-term cap
mm-hmm,
ramifications. Something like if he doesn't come back, I forget all that goes into it. But as far as like this year's cap, it didn't affect it that much.
mm-hmm.
Not having Odell Beckham would have been fun. Okay,
Yes. Mm-hmm,
not having him is considerably less fun. Odell's a fun
mm-hmm,
guy. Like Odell was what kept New York football like even semi afloat for like 4 years. No joke. Like he was the only interesting thing here for 4 years between both teams. So like not having him sucks,
Yes.
and I'm not here to act
Mm-hmm.
like it doesn't.
It does.
Was it more of a luxury signing than anything else? Probably. And yes, the man has
Mm-hmm,
torn his ACL twice in what 3 years, 4 years, whatever it
mm-hmm,
is, 5 years. I can't remember how long. But so I'm not exactly like shaking in my boots over them not signing Odell Beckham, but it would have been nice to have him. And
Yeah,
I
that's
get
my
just
thoughts.
in a vacuum, I understand why they didn't pay him that. And I also understand why he took that from the Ravens because he was going to get more money and I'm assuming considerably more tick. And
Mm-hmm,
since Case is in the background doing the producer thing, um, he mentioned the whole Lazard two versus Odell because multiple people were saying Odell would have been a 3 here and that's why he didn't sign here.
yeah, that's.
I don't think that statement is as ridiculous as other people do. Not because I think Alan Lazard is better than Odell. I damn sure don't. Right, but I think it's one of those things where Odell would have out targeted him. I think. And I
Mm-hmm,
think, given the fact that the Jets project themselves to be a balanced offense,
mm-hmm,
and obviously, like Alan Lazard has red zone capabilities and he's
mm-hmm,
a nasty blocker, I think
mm-hmm,
he probably would have played more snaps than Odell did.
mm-hmm.
Not necessarily targeting more. It just depends on what we mean by 2-3. I
Yeah.
don't think either one of them is going to come here and get like no 120 targets. At least
Mm-hmm.
if Alan Lazard gets targeted 120 times, something went very, very wrong somewhere. Something very wrong. I'm talking about Garrett got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's really it. Actually, like
Mm-hmm.
Garrett would have to get hurt for that to happen, and
Mm-hmm.
even then, I think that would still be wild if he got 120 targets. That's 8 a game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
no
that's
way Alan Lazard's getting that. So it's
that's
one of those
something.
like it's kind of they would have been 2A 2B more or less in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But Odell is it sucks. It would have been nice to watch him here. He went to the Ravens. I wish him the best.
Yeah, that's my feeling about it pretty much. Like they don't have anyone on the Ravens, so yes, he's going to get a lot of the targets. It would have been nice to have him here, but at least now I don't have to eat so many words about what I thought about Odell Beckham when he was with the Giants. Now I can just pretend that never happened and just move along and enjoy his game with Baltimore because he has a great game to watch. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm trying to think what else would the same guy. I've seen many Jets fans also be like, "Oh my goodness, oh." I was seeing many Jets fans saying, "Oh my goodness gracious, Joe Douglas is messing up." But honestly, even with the money implications and all of that stuff, 18 million. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that's like a super high amount, but I could see why the Jets would balk from that. I mean, that's a decent amount of money for Odell Beckham, considering where he is and everything like that. I would have maybe if I were Woody, I would have said it, but I can understand why the Jets didn't. And I don't really feel I don't really feel too strongly about it, to be honest. It just feels like, and there's been some people talk just super quickly. There have been some people talking, "Oh my God, the Jets are missing out on so many great free agents. How can this be happening?" Blah blah blah. And it's like maybe it's just me not really following all that much, but there hasn't really been any free agents that are like, "Oh my God,
They
why
missed
did the
out on
Jets not
Fletcher
even
Cox.
bother?"
That was it. They missed out on
Yeah.
Fletcher. They're like the great, great. I'm not talking about like good, above average, great free. They missed out on Fletcher Cox. This wasn't a great free agent class.
Yeah.
Like, and they missed out on Calais Campbell. Like, I'm not. He's a 37-year-old edge. But sorry, interior lineman. Excuse me. Like, I'm not losing sleep over that. Like, Odell Beckham, cool. I love Odell. I'm not losing sleep over that. Like, they didn't need Odell per se. Like, the Jets are not in some bad way because they don't have Odell. Would I prefer they upgrade Corey Davis? Yes. Not here to argue. Yes. Is it, if they brought back Corey Davis, is that some like awful scenario? Probably not. If they replace him with another above average guy for cheaper, maybe. Is that the worst case scenario? Not really. Like, it kind of just, it is what it is.
Yeah, this free agency didn't really move the needle for me for whatever reason. There are a lot of people that are coming off unhinged. There are a lot of people that are losing sleep. But some guys were awake late at night and super unhinged very late. And it's not because the Gobert was suspended, but it's even though I'm sure some guys are unhinged about Gobert being suspended, it's because
Gobert did come unhinged on the sideline, to be fair.
It's because Benjamin Allright has been a really bad friend and a bad partner. And I'm not one to really be like, "Oh my God," but I mean, if he wants to share, it's a good question. Is he all right? Because I mean, it's his right to share. I get it. He has his right to share and he has his right to speak. I just don't know what he thought that sharing on a public platform where he has a decent amount of followers, what he was expecting from that. Kev, can you provide our listeners with some more context surrounding this?
All right. So I think you supply enough, so I'll just supply a little bit more and then go talk my talk. But so Benjamin Allbright just got up like one random night. I want to say it was like Thursday, Wednesday night. I can't remember. The days flow together, so forgive me. It was last week. Okay. And he started talking about how he did his partner wrong and this, that, and the third, and how he cheated and this, that, and the third, and how he had at one point he had physical issues, aka, to me, I read that as he couldn't get the wee up. That's how I read it. I can't speak for anybody else. That's how I read it. He couldn't get the wee up. But that's neither here nor there. That's not my business. Thankfully, he didn't tell us that. Thankfully. The one thing he didn't tell us, he didn't tell us that. Thankfully. Nobody needed. But and he went into he made several tweets about it, deleted them, basically got the next 2 days and made more tweets about them. The ex commented, she was saying he's basically using her trauma for social media gain and all of that and this, that, and it's just
messy. That's why you don't share.
Personally, I share as little about me as I can on the internet. You're not gonna know shit about me outside of I like sports and I like food. Like you'll get a few little sprinkles here and there. You're not gonna know much about me. Like you'll find out more if you want to listen to the podcast, and even then, I'm not sharing any detail that could be used against me later on, or any details I don't feel like y'all need to know. So I'm just not that guy. I am all in favor of people doing that on the internet though, because it fuels my entertainment. So thank you for doing this. Why they do this, I have no idea. Because granted, I've grown out of it, but I used to be fascinated by like the thought process that goes into certain things and being like, what could this person have possibly seen to draw this conclusion and do this? Thankfully, I've grown out of it. I don't care anymore. Like I will occasionally ask, like, what were they thinking? But outside of that, I don't really care. But why he shared all that with us, I have no fucking idea. Like, why did you share to us that you're a dirtbag lover? Like, and the thing is, it wasn't even like, okay, he's still with the woman, and for some reason she wanted him to do this publicly, because I guess people have this thing where, oh, make the what is it? Make the apology as loud as the disrespect was.
Yes.
Yeah, they got
Yes.
that. Like maybe that's what it is. But I've seen women like take their partner's phone or whatever and tweet the bullshit from their account. I'm a dirty cheater and this, that, third. And I've seen men like apologizing publicly for all the wrong that I've done and this, that, and the third. And then you have Benjamin Albright, who is neither of those things, because the woman herself was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He wasn't into him at all. She's like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on? What are you doing?" And he's just sharing. He's pouring this stuff out to us, and it's just, what is, are you all right? As the damn caption says, are you all right? Like, what are you doing? What are you gaining from this shit? And based on the stuff that you read, like in the comments, like I searched his name just to laugh, more or less. And based on the type of stuff I read about his history, like none of this is surprising. He's quite the slime ball. If you believe even half of the shit that I've read in the past like 4 days, he's quite the fucking slime ball. But why he shared that shit with us and embarrassed himself, embarrassed that young lady, whoever, I guess he didn't name the other person by name. She's just twisting in the wind somewhere, I guess, whatever. He embarrassed her too, even if she don't know it yet. He embarrassed her too. He embarrassed everybody, and nobody knows why. But I'm glad he did it, because, well, this is the first legitimate news he's broken the entire offseason.
That's what I heard a lot. It's true. I mean, that's
the fucking offseason. Ben Albright, a massive cheater. Breaking news. It's the first news he broke.
It's just crazy. Like what we were talking about earlier, with people willing to share so much, and it's just like, I mean, I kind of get that thought process of sharing, but didn't he have like friends to share this with, or like a chat, or
a fucking
like,
therapist?
I was about to say a therapist too. That was my next thing. A therapist. Like there are so many people you can share.
Your cousin, somebody. Like, why the fuck are you sharing this shit with the internet? Like, and the thing is, like, it's not even like one of those things where, you know how sometimes women overshare about men, and there's an entire coalition of women in the mention talking shit about men. At least it's like, all right, if you get your rocks off at a whole bunch of agreement, a whole bunch of yes women, okay, that ain't my jam, but who am I to tell you to stop? But like, bro, we weren't gonna agree with you. What are you sharing this for?
No one's gonna be like, rock on, Ben. You emotionally cheated on your girlfriend. Great job.
Right.
Shit, man.
Like Twitter, the people who end up in Ben Albright's mentions don't like him for the most part.
Yes,
They don't.
yes.
So it's like, why do you think that sharing this with us was gonna go that way?
Yeah. It would have been like Rudy Gobert sharing with something like that, or Draymond Green or someone like that. You know what's gonna happen. You know what to expect. But here is one thing that you should expect and you should love. And
it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Pull up a seat and get off your feet for Jude's Grooves.
This is going to be interesting, because I was telling Kev sent this to me, and I was talking to him, and I'm wondering if he was putting me through a nigga boot camp, because this next song has that word many times. Like, I don't know if it's just like, get me used to saying nigga, so that way I don't sound like a cop when I say it to people. But
you're giving me ideas, by the way, with this. I didn't think of that, but you're giving me ideas. As far as the song, it is I'm a Thug, the second verse by Trick Daddy. Go ahead, Jim. Take it away.
Don't listen to this, Ben Albright. You're not a thug. You're just oversharing. See, I'm so tight. Niggas be like, that nigga got so many hoes. And I know he got clout. Look at his mouth, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but okay. That nigga got so many golds. Niggas be telling they hoes. There's something up with that nigga. Bitch, I've been watching you, watching him. You must wanna fuck this nigga. Okay, so it's like I just want to interject and ask why you like why are you watching like another girl wanted to have sex with another dude like this? Like if this is a fetish you have, that's fine, but why are you watching so intently? Like how does this pass for anything? My name alone been known to break up happy homes. No disrespect, dog, but you ain't have no business even answering her phone. Hello, who is this? If your ass was home, then me and her couldn't have been
Couldn't have been
I
getting
don't
it
know,
on. Yeah.
couldn't have been getting what the fuck, getting it on, and you couldn't have been hitting her right because ever since that night she's been hitting the phone. She wants a dog. Okay, so I'm trying to get this song. So he's watching the other girl want to have sex with another dude, but he's also having sex with her. Like, is this like the main idea of this so far? I don't get this. Refrain. I don't know what's this world gonna bring, but I know one thing that this is the life for me, baby, because I'm a dog. All day, every day, baby, because I'm a dog. Wouldn't change for the world, because I'm a dog. That's right, you heard, baby, because I'm a dog. Okay, I get it. Aha, oh yeah. Check it out. Is this who wrote this? Who sung this? like I like who wrote this shit?
Who wrote this?
like I'm confused who wrote this. Like who sung this? Why is this a thing, Kev? Like is this something that people is this like a sex song or something? Like did people put the okay.
Not a sex song, dude.
I don't know, but that's why I'm asking. It's like I'm wondering what's going on.
Yo.
I'm just wondering what's going on. I'm just wondering.
Hey man. Once again, Jude, thank you for participating. thank you for reading. Thank you for reading the lyrics. Follow me on Twitter. You see it at the bottom, but follow me on Twitter and Instagram, wherever else at KLEW24. Follow Jude at Jude Truth.
Anywhere.
And follow the podcast MIPod69. Details about our draft party are being tweeted and retweeted every day. Come hang with us and see what the Jets do at 13 and all of that. Oh, any last words, Jude?
Yeah, 13 Green Bay. Don't think you're going to get that. I know there are some Packers writers on there who are obsessed with that idea, but I don't think you're getting that. So just get used to it.
All right, man. For Jude Jackson, I'm Kevin A. Lewis. Signing off.
Take it easy.